You see change. There are distinct changes. More change. And then some more change. Okay, let's have some more light on the matter. These changes that I'm talking about, the last 10 days have been huge for my life. Professional, psychological, emotional. There have been emotional upheavals in my life. There have been changes and that affects one's life. These changes affect one's life. Some of the professional changes I had already talked about, and they're very exciting. Some changes are less exciting and more disturbing, and some changes make you look towards the future. Now, this young big man now is ready to take on the world. Let's go have a look.
School's over. Let's shoot a movie.
I was asking for vlog ideas.
No, so as I told you, that I don't really think about vlog ideas, but
Maybe just being a little louder because we're having a mic which is very pointing towards the ceiling.
So, I'll just open the window a bit. So as I was telling you, I don't really think much about vlog ideas because what interests me more is cinema. I don't watch much cinema, I haven't watched much cinema, but I still think of ideas
But
of
still,
content.
you will still watch some of the greatest movies ever made of, like for example Sergio Leone and stuff, and Interstellar and stuff like that. So, Interstellar, of course, you cannot compare it with Sergio Leone because Sergio Leone is
completely different.
It's a different league. It's absolutely brilliant work. Interstellar is okay. It's good, but still, yeah. Tell me.
No, but I didn't start thinking about ideas for movies after watching these really good movies. I thought of ideas about movies, long ago. I started thinking about these ideas like 4 or 5 years ago. Back then I hadn't watched any movies. I had watched a few movies, but they were not those great movies as such, so to speak.
What do you mean great movies as such? You mean to say
I used to watch, those. I was never really into cinema back then. I'd watch those animation movies. Probably some animation movies
right.
are good.
Yeah, like Ice Age and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty okay movies actually. Pretty possible. But again, yeah. But whenever I'm seeing that when you shoot me, whenever you help me in my shoots, I notice that the way you conceive the shots is pretty much very strongly influenced by ideas which are similar to Sergio Leone, and you say that you've been thinking about it before you watch Sergio Leone, right?
I haven't been thinking about the shot. Yes, watching Sergio Leone movies, it gave me ideas of how I could take a shot, but what I mean to say is that I started thinking about ideas for stories, the story of the movie,
Right.
long before I watched those movies. I started thinking about ideas for stories like 4 or 5 years ago. I used to think about the story. I used to think about the character.
Even when we were playing tennis.
Not right playing tennis.
I mean to say the time frame. You're playing tennis, but at the same time somewhere else you're doing something else, and you're thinking about.
Yeah, I'm thinking about these ideas of presenting a story. No, yeah, I started playing tennis seriously 5 years ago. Yeah, 6 years ago. Even then, I used to play tennis seriously. I used to think a lot about tennis, but sometimes during my free time when I was doing something else, or maybe when I was lying down at night before going to bed, I just used to think of a story which would be interesting for people
To be shown on screen.
to be shown on screen, or maybe something they would read. It didn't matter whether it was on screen or if it was a book or a novel. I just used to think about the story.
Right.
So But over time, like certain movies influenced my ideas a bit, and you know that movies are one of the biggest influencers of people's minds, of the public, of the masses. So
Right.
I just thought that movies could be put to a good use to influence people in the right way. Probably the second biggest influence for the masses.
After politicians, even.
Yeah, and if it's a good politician.
I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I guess most politicians, they're good orators after all.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, I thought that if you can show a really good movie, if you can show something that will grab the attention of the audience, and if you can convey the right message, it can be used for a good cause. I mean, but then again, I wasn't really too interested in thinking about the cause, but I was just interested in thinking about a story as such, which could be presented.
You want to talk about James Bond?
James Bond?
You
Well,
just-
yeah. James Bond, I mean, I feel, I don't know, it's one of the most popular franchises ever, but it's one of the most popular franchises ever, but I thought that, I feel that it's misogynistic, and I mean, that's what I felt that it's always been misogynistic. I don't know what you think about it. I mean, what's your opinion? What's your take on it?
I don't know. Have you watched James Bond?
From what I've read, but I haven't really watched any James Bond, but what I've read is that
Yeah, I mean, in any case, the world is misogynist, so why blame just James Bond?
just blame James Bond because that's a medium that really influences a lot of people, right? I mean, as you said,
I'm not so sure about whether it influences people because people don't go to watch James Bond to be influenced. People go to watch James Bond to have fun.
yeah, but it still influences behavior. I mean,
You're talking sociology here.
I'm not talking sociology.
He just had a sociology exam.
Yeah, my sociology
About a month
exam
back.
was a month ago, and I took that subject because I was interested in it.
Right.
I wanted to understand how.
We're talking about fun here. We're talking about, vlogging and stuff like that, and cinematic and shooting and B-roll and all of that.
Yeah, all of that is interesting, but if you can make a I mean, if you can make a story cinematic, a good story cinematic, I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing like it.
Yeah, I understand.
So, for example, I mean, James Bond does have a lot of scenes, a lot of instances where it's highly misogynistic. That, I mean, the female is usually plays a
Tertiary role, yes.
tertiary role. Is just, I mean, the female is just there to enhance James Bond's sexual appeal, so as to say.
Or her own sexual. That's okay. I mean,
But
the role, she
doesn't have any central
James
role.
Bond is a man. You can say that.
But
There's no female James Bond.
yeah, I mean, yeah, and the female has no central. I mean, doesn't really have. Of what I've read.
But then that's what
female
James Bond is
doesn't
all
usually
about.
I guess that's how the world has been functioning. I mean, that's what James Bond is propagating. How many women do you have in?
Okay,
in
you
the-
can say how many
in front of-
franchises you have like that. You don't have any franchises
How many franchises do you have
in the role of James Bond.
in the role of James Bond for women? Or
This is becoming a very serious discussion. Okay, I wanted vlogging ideas. We're going to have a serious discussion. I think we'll cut it right now.
I mean, just wanted to say, like,
Yeah,
for example, I mean,
I agree.
if you take the example of Once Upon a Time in the West by Sergio Leone, was that movie? It's one of the best movies I've ever watched. I mean, it's a very serious movie. It's
brilliant. It's not.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's also a lot of fun. But it's
Your
also-
friend couldn't watch it. He says it's too slow. Most people cannot watch movies like that these days.
That's
They want it on their phone right now. 70 seconds. You got 70 seconds. You got a 70-second time frame window in which you have to do everything. They cannot sit down and watch a 2 hour 53-minute movie.
So I guess that's why vlogs have become so popular, because nobody has patience to really absorb something that's good. Everyone wants everything at their fingertips and in seconds. I mean, as
I'm okay with that.
Mahatma Gandhi once said that there's more to life than increasing its speed. I know this gets rather philosophical, but and think about it. I mean, speed has its advantages, but I mean, if you really want to have something of depth and of magnitude, you will need to devote your time to it. You'll require patience to grasp, absorb something that's powerful, something that's meaningful.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the vlog ideas.